That should work now. Thank you, V Prevails. It was me. Do you know what? For some reason, my computer set it on a different microphone. Sorry about that. Sorry. So I've been kind of talking to myself for a while. Yes, it does. It does indeed. But thank you for pointing that out. I would have not noticed at all. My goodness, how embarrassing. Well, as you said, it happens. So you just missed me like saying that, oh yeah, I was deleting some images. I was deleting some code. That was all good. And let me just make sure that I can hear myself now. Yeah, I can hear myself. Yes, yes. Cool. Yeah, I deleted some images and I was wondering why these images aren't working. That's a bit odd. Let me go to the main distributed website. I suspect some kind of Gatsby Gitpod shenanigans, perhaps? Because here it's working fine, which is good. So the question is, I seem to remember this working properly before. So I wonder if it's something that I'm doing wrong. Let me just make sure I don't have any weird firewall stuff going on. You never know. Let's give that another try. Yeah, what is the SRC pointing to? I think this is doing some kind of Gatsby automagic stuff. So that's got to be it. Perhaps. Let's give it a try. Yeah, because it's a bit weird, isn't it? Let me give this a hard refresh. Well, one thing at a time. I'm just going to quickly commit. Yeah. It is really weird because I seem to remember from working on this, not just in previous streams, but previously in general, that it's there. So it's like, odd. In any case, I'd say, yeah, it did used to work. Yeah, that's what I thought. Very odd. Very odd indeed. So, I don't think I changed anything. All of the images are still coming from the same place. I'm just going to quickly git status, git add SRC. Just going to commit deleting these files, and then I'm going to investigate a little bit as to why the images are no longer showing up, because that's a bit weird. I hope I didn't break something. Remove unused images. Oh, wait, semantic commit. I always forget semantic commits. Not semantic, conventional commits. Conventional commits. Forget every time. Let's see, we got fix feed. I would say, no, it's not a fix really. Build, chore, doc style, refactor. Is deleting images a type of deleting code? And if so, does that make it refactoring? I would say, for the sake of argument, yes. Refactor. I think so. Worst case scenario, we can amend that commit. Cool. Let's push origin feature integration, and I think that'll rebuild the website for us, a sort of a preview one. Yeah. And hopefully that'll give us some kind of indication of whether I'm doing something wrong or whether something's not working today. Taylor might know more as well. He should be here in a moment. It's really odd that those images would disappear. Yeah. Doesn't make a whole bunch of sense. But we'll find it out in just a second. And Taylor's here, so I'm just going to let him in. Hey,
everybody.
How's it going?
It's going well. How are you?
Good, good. Thank you. Found a weird little bug here that I'd love to investigate with you. But before we jump in, I'd love to hear how you're doing and what's new at Distribute Aid.
Yeah, big week for our mission at Fort Pickett. The last Afghan guests departed on Tuesday morning, February 1st. So really glad to see them go on to their new lives, and kind of demobilizing operation has been in full swing for a while, and is really we're getting to the last stages of demob here. So another week or so of work, and then we'll be launching our phase two to provide continued support for resettled Afghans in the U.S.
Amazing. Sorry, you said the last stages of demo. I didn't understand that term. Sorry.
Oh, gotcha. Right. So there's obviously a lot of like infrastructure that was set up on the base, to serve meals to thousands of guests, all the donated aid, things like that. So a lot of that is now being torn down and going back. Obviously, if it was like a contractor, they're taking their tents and things back. In our case, we have over 120 pallets of aid.
Yeah.
So we'll be sending probably 5 or 6 different full trucks of aid to our community partners across the East Coast and in the Midwest who are continuing to support resettled Afghans. Yeah. So just lots
Awesome.
of getting stuff back and packaging it up and all that.
I'll bet. I'll bet. Thank you. That sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, it's okay. We've done a good job. Certainly glad to have some support from the other organizations working on base over the
Yeah.
weekend, so we could get ahead of the curve. But
Awesome.
it's just very hectic right now as different people pop up with different things, and then I need to go help them sort it out. So
Gotcha. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you for sharing as always. Folks in the chat, or if you're watching non-live, let me give you a link here to Distribute Ape's Open Collective. Like any kind of contribution is always appreciated. Like we're here, like doing some coding, but there's also other kinds of contributions you can make. So please check it out and consider any kind of donation you can. Every little bit helps.
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, let me show you what I was up to up until now, Taylor.
totally. I'm
Good.
excited.
Yeah, good news from last week. I was able to get images to work. So, what you see here in the screen share is a PR that I've opened, and these images that you see here are being pulled in from Forestry and no longer from static images.
Awesome. That's great.
Yeah, I'll show you what the change was we need. I used I've got the codec map here, the PR
Mhm.
map. What was missing was to declare the data in Gatsby Node.js.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Oh, I see. Okay. So to kind of lay out the GraphQL side there.
exactly. Exactly. And so what I was able to do with that then, one other thing I did was, while I take take advantage of the fact that I was working on these, was to rename this from sort of snake case to camel case, so it was more conformed with how we do things in TypeScript.
Sure.
Now, I wanted to ask you, because I've got it almost ready for a review and merge.
Hmm.
However, look at this. I was working on, this is the non-live version. This is a development version. And what's really weird is that these images no longer work, but I seem to remember them working before.
Hmm.
Do you have any idea what could be causing that?
Um, I'm not sure. Are those static images or are those being loaded
Yeah.
from Forestry?
No, I think they're static. Check it out. So if you see here, I don't know if you can see it. Maybe it's too small,
Hmm.
but you can see it's static, and then
Yeah.
I think it's being done with what's it called? Are the images in the uploads folder? The forestry ones are, but I believe these other ones are not. But I'm not sure. Maybe I'll run a Coatsy recording for that.
Yeah, I kind of feel like I want to know where the images are being pulled in from, and then
Yeah.
that would really help us kind of narrow it down.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. I'm just going to move this window over here. Yes, Beeperrail says the others are from the previous setup. That's right. So these images you see here are from the previous setup. And I don't know, it's kind of weird. Let me just, because I think these come from Forestry now.
Yeah, I think Maxime was working on that.
So for the rest, for example, this one here, this should not be, these are not loaded in from Forestry.
Yeah, that's interesting. So are they from the previous setup? Are they going to be loaded from Contentful, or more likely it looks like they're just static images, right?
I guess I'll see. I'll make a quick recording and see if we can narrow down where that's coming from, and see if we can figure that out. Because I'm very eager to get this to work, and then we start using Gatsby image plugin.
Yeah, totally. That might be my. I know it's early in the stream, but my feature request of the stream.
Please.
You know how we were doing that kind of Google Lighthouse analysis
Yeah.
a few weeks ago, and so I feel like in this case doing the Codesy recording, but then if Codesy could detect issues like the image not actually loading, or I know it like highlights console logs, but if there are other issues, kind of start surfacing some information in the recording to help you jump in, maybe even like highlight the paths, like this image didn't load, where is that data coming from? Can I get a not a stack trace, but kind of like a stack trace for the data flow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here we go. So we go up 2 images. Home, Health Refugees, Warehouse, Calais. So they are static images in
in an images folder, it looks like.
In an images folder, yeah. So let's take a look at that, because I had images just open just a minute ago. Images home. Did I delete one? No, there it is. Help Refugees Warehouse Calais. .jpg.
Yeah. It looks like there are icons in there as well. Are those showing up on the home page? I think that might have been like our stats for 2020 or something section.
Oh yeah. Let's have a look.
I can't. Yeah. So the icons look like they are showing up.
Yeah. They seem to be base 64 data. That's odd. What I was also
with SVGs. It looks like there's some console errors. Should we take a look at the console errors?
Yeah, good call. Connection timed out. Module not found. Huh. Page data. Some socket stuff. I wonder if this is an issue with Gatsby and Gitpod in combination.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Let's have a look at the network tab. Maybe that'll give us some idea. Right, because there's, what was it called? Help Refugees Warehouse Calais. Check it out.
Interesting. So it's like loading the image, but not actually loading the image. What's it getting back there?
It's doing a WebP.
Okay. Could we try just plugging in that static path right there?
This one here?
Yeah, let's see if we can just get the image by itself to load.
Sure. I just want to make sure that I didn't introduce a bug. Oops. There.
Okay, so that's getting 404.
I wonder if this is, could you know how we have these previews?
Yeah, I think we could look at a preview through Netlify, right? If this is a PR, it should automatically generate a preview, so we can see if it's just a Gitpod issue.
Sounds good. This one, right?
Yep.
Update from Forestry IO. Deploy previews, feature images. So one, right?
Yep.
Cool.
PR151.
This is handy. Hey, there we go. So maybe it's just some kind of weird development issue.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure what's causing it, especially since it's not reproducible in production. Do we want to try maybe just killing the server, restarting, and seeing if that helps? It might be like a caching thing or something like that.
Good call. Good call. Let's do that. Yeah, sounds good. In the meantime, do you want to maybe give the PR a review, or you'd rather do that once we've got this?
Yeah, I can start looking through it here real quick.
Sure, sounds good. I don't know if you need the URL.
I'm just opening it up through GitHub here.
Cool.
Cool.
Just gonna let this build. I think it's done. Yeah. So let's have a look again. And no, oddly enough, it's still. Do you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna try this on a different browser just to be safe. Yeah, so I'm getting the same error on a different browser. Do you want to maybe try it? Try the direct URL on yours. Here, I'll pass you a link.
Sure.
I have no idea. Maybe it's a connection issue on my end. Maybe there's some kind of.
No, it's doing it for me too. So there's some issue with like the local static images.
vPrevail's tried it locally, so it could be a Gitpod thing going on.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. For now, it's either a Gatsby thing or a Gitpod thing, but it doesn't look like Gatsby if Netlify is working and if it's working for vPrevails as well.
Yeah. Thank you very much for checking. Let's then I would say let's leave that issue and move forward.
Yeah, exactly. I think we forge ahead here, and we'll just double check the deploy preview like we did to get confirmation that we're not going to break images on prod.
Perfect. In that case, cool. Let's do the review. And what I'll do in the meantime is just start briefly having a look at how we use the Gatsby image plugin image. I think it's called Gatsby plugin image. Gatsby plugin image. Because in theory, no. So where do we use it? Do we not use it anywhere? Oh yeah, we do. Gatsby image from Gatsby plugin image. Yeah, this looks good. So the thing is, can we use Gatsby image with a source? I don't actually use Gatsby image a whole lot. Gatsby image data. Just get image. Because I think this might be like binary data, but I could be wrong. I'm going to look up the documentation. So Gatsby image. Can I pass in a source?
Cool. Ramón, review checked out. I used CodeC Maps to kind of walk through it visually.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Did it help?
No, it was great. It was good. I like how
awesome.
it kind of kept the bundle changes together as well.
Yeah.
So didn't want to interrupt your train of thought there, but am I good to merge this in?
Awesome. Yeah, go for it. Go for it. Thank you.
Great.
So vPrevail says we use Gatsby images for images that come from GraphQL and static image for ones that come from a folder. So let's do that. I seem to remember us seeing a static image. And what is? Oh, static image comes from Gatsby plugin image. Thank you, vPrevails. Nice. Nice.
I think we're probably going to want to use Gatsby image for the forestry stuff, right? Because that'll be exposed through GraphQL. Or this gets tricky because I think the way a lot of this works, like we'll pull the content from GraphQL or from forestry into the GraphQL and then build the site, right? So at that point, the image is actually static, even though it's coming through GraphQL. The image is static. It's not going to change dynamically on the site. Whereas I think Gatsby image is if you're like pulling it through GraphQL during runtime from an external service, if that makes sense.
Right. And because we're using that, we because we're loading it through GraphQL, we might be able to use that Gatsby image after all. Did I understand correctly?
No, I think it's so basically there's two times that images can change, right?
Right.
In our case, the images could change whenever we build the site, so at build time, right? But for all intents and purposes, when we're serving the site, they're actually static, right?
Mm-hmm.
There might be other sites that need dynamic images, like they're pulling someone's profile photo from Gravatar, and that could change at any time, right? And so that's where I think they use Gatsby image to make that networked request during runtime. But in our case, we'll just rebuild the site if something changes, right? So I think we might be able to use static image all the way through here, even with the images in GraphQL. I remember doing that for some of the ones that we pulled down from Contentful.
Because gotcha. Because what vPrevail says is like if it's possible to get it through GraphQL, that would give us lots of benefits.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of this should be.
Can't use past props as SRC in static image, and that is extremely blah.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's interesting. So maybe there's different, it looks like there's different APIs kind of for static image versus Gatsby image as well.
Gotcha. This is pretty new to me, so I'm kind of learning on the fly.
Yeah. No, it gets complicated.
So we want to see if we can use Gatsby image. Is that right? Did I understand correctly? Or do we want to try with static image first?
Why don't we move forward with Gatsby image?
Yeah.
For stuff from Forestry. I'm just going to do a little Googling, see if I can't kind of figure out.
vPrevail's actually passed us a link. Restrictions on using Gatsby image. Sorry, static image. Cool. Thank you for that. Can I copy this? Do you know what? I can't copy it here on StreamYard, but I'll get it from Twitch. There we go. So I'll pass this to you in the private chat. In case it helps. Static image is awesome either way, but those restrictions are sometimes a bit unhandy. Yeah, good to know. Thank you. Sorry, Taylor. I think your camera cover might have fallen a little bit.
Oh, sorry. Did I push the laptop back into the
all fine. All fine. All fine. Yeah. I'll also look this up because we want to use Let me make this a bit bigger. So we want to use Gatsby image components. And we got static images and dynamic images. And I think we want dynamic images.
I see what vPrevails is talking about here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, yeah, because it happens at build time, Gatsby has to kind of write out the values. So it's a performance versus dev experience trade-off.
Gotcha.
Right? With Gatsby image, you can pass in values as props, right? So for a component that might, have multiple different types of images and you want to pass that in as a prop, right? And then you can render different images the same way. Gatsby image is the way to go. I think for static images, that's where they're truly static, right? So they're not going to change, in that component or something. That might be like the logo, if there's a logo component and it's always the same image sort of deal.
Gotcha.
So in a lot of cases, it might be possible to use static image, right, where there's particular images at places, but that also might make the code more brittle or harder to use because you have to actually deal with, things looking like a constant, rather than passing props down, just kind of letting the children components handle things.
Right.
Yeah.
So in our case, it might make so if we can use that Gatsby image one, so like here, data blog post avatar. So probably in the same way, Gatsby image, get image. Shall I give this a try using Gatsby image and get image?
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Awesome. Then I will load that up here. And now I'll take us to our how we help section. I need to git pull Forgot to pull after we merge Saga. Put that up again. And in the meantime, whoopsie, please, can I have my editor back? There we go. In the meantime, we'll pull in Gatsby image and get image, and then we'll replace that image tag with a Gatsby image tag. So this one here. So this is a Gatsby image now. And instead of source, which doesn't exist, we'll use that image data. Let me see if I got this right. Image. Yeah, and in here we'll call get image. Let's do that. Image equals, and then I'll just copy this because I'm going to forget. So image, then get image. I hope that's right. Getting an error here. Argument of type string is not assignable to parameter of type image data like. Right, the data that's coming in is a string. But maybe in our Gatsby node stuff, we can change that. Does that sound good?
Yeah, but potentially. I'm not sure how we go from a string to... Nope, I can't.
Everything okay?
No, it's all good. I just pushing the laptop back here. I'm like, nope.
All fine. Yeah, you see here, like how we help block has these here, and one of these is an image. But when I import it, I declare it to be a string. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think what Gatsby's really looking for, it seems like an actual file pointer, so to speak.
Yeah,
something like that.
Probably.
But we're uploading the image to Contentful, so or to Forestry. So
yeah.
like I feel like they should be able to give us that image data back. Let me go around for like Forestry Gatsby image and see if there's like, maybe there might even be a nice plugin that does a lot of this for us or something.
That'd be awesome. Because I can tell you, when I declared these images, the forestry type that we assigned them last week is a file. So that kind of sends us in the right direction.
Right.
What I wonder if I'm doing wrong, if I open up, let's see, if I open up, not the table, the markdown, the icons, where's my... I always get lost when I have too much stuff open. Pages, templates, that's it. Homepage. Here in homepage, you see, I'm importing this as a string. So I wonder if somewhere here I want to change that a bit. What could it be? Let me see what we're doing for get image. Carousel, we're using that. Ah, good old any. Okay. Let me take a look. Gatsby image, images.map, image index. So the way we're doing it in this page, I'm just gonna try it. I know this isn't the right way to do it, but if I declare this to be any, I'm gonna make all the TypeScript. The TypeScript fan in me is going to be very upset with me. But we're just trying stuff out. So let me just open up the home page, pass that in as an any. Does that make? Nah. Let's see. So this is happy, but this is no longer happy. Type iGatsby image undefined is not assignable to type. Type undefined is not assignable to type iGatsby image. The expected type comes from which is declared here in children. TypeScript's any, yeah. So I think we're probably getting somewhere. I'm just going to have a look again at how we do it here. Get image. Because here we have an array of any's. Where do those come from? Where are we doing carousel tile? That's probably also in the home page. Get image output would be undefined because it does not know how to use just a string. So I guess it is still a string, huh? Just by making it, I was hoping there would be some sort of magic coercion going on. Oh, let's see what we got. B Prevails is suggesting this documentation here for get image. Let's have a look. Gatsby plugin. Actually, let me just load it up on Twitch again. Let's see. Thank you. Let's have a look. Safely get a Gatsby image data. It accepts several types of objects and is null self-returning undefined if the object passed or any are undefined. If it passed a file object, how do we get a file object? Return file. If passage contentful asset, or that includes Gatsby image data field. Blah, blah, blah. Data.avatar. This is the same as data avatar. Huh. Was that actually the helper we were using? I think so, because I was using. Hold on, sorry, I'm all over the place today. Thanks for putting up with me, everybody.
That's all good.
By the way, Taylor, if I'm stepping on your toes, please feel free to like navigate as well.
Yeah, no, totally. I'm just doing some Googling here.
Sure.
Yeah. It seems like there might be some sort of Forestry likes absolute paths and Gatsby likes relative paths, or vice versa, or something like that. I don't know. So we might need to get some plugins. I'm trying to figure out if that's the case.
Feels headline.
Yeah.
String. So in the image carousel, let's take a look at the image carousel. Can I do that from here? You're very kind, B Prevails. Thank you. Can I open this? Whoa, what did I do? Whoa. Okay, yeah, for the image carousel, the data is getting pulled in from GraphQL. Which is fine. All we got to do now is figure out if we can get a file. What is a file object? Can I? A file object. I'm going to go with Gatsby file object. Do we have? Huh. This doesn't look like what we want, honestly. But I'm very much unknowledgeable on Gatsby. How do we help section? Because, yeah, it would be super cool to get that in there, but display the image. Yeah, because I was trying it here. Image. The default options. Plugin sharp. Right, so static image takes a source, but we don't want that. We want our Gatsby image. So this is not what we want. Dynamic images. If you need to have dynamic images, such as if they're coming from a CMS, you can load them via GraphQL and display them using the Gatsby image component. Maybe I should take a look at the Gatsby node setup and see how that looks in there. Where's that? Gatsby node. How are images in general being made? Like the image carousel. Where is the image carousel? Carousel. Oh no, this is the wrong one. There's more than one image carousel. Haha, my bad. All file. So this is doing some all file GraphQL stuff for the carousel.
That's interesting. That looks a bit weird though. That's what I'm seeing though on the like the starter repo I was looking at.
Yeah.
was making a static query and then using gatsby-image. So a static query is where the component will like make the same query every time, right? So it can't account for props and things like that. You can also do dynamic queries as well, kind of
Okay.
which would run every time the component's rendered. But I feel like this should be easier, right? I feel like at the very least something like this should be in some sort of config or other file. But this is what I think Gatsby image is looking for, is like
Yeah.
an image node which would have all of the relevant data, not just that string.
Right. Right. And I wonder, because maybe there's a way to use Forestry to get that image binary data. Forestry CMS Gatsby file data.
So I was looking at this one. This is a lot of like config and stuff like that for Forestry. So it'll get you started, but it doesn't get into the specific image stuff.
Oh,
Um,
Gatsby source file system plugin that Gatsby used to locate markdown files. So, you're
yeah,
right. vPrevail says the get image helper is expecting a specific type of object. Yes, it is. Yeah.
yep,
Which I think is going to be that Gatsby image data itself.
yeah, exactly.
So that's different types of data. Git based headless CMS, Gatsby.js. What is this? Gatsby starting time. Oh, this is the starter repo that you were talking about, right?
No, I was looking at a different one. We could try that one. It might have been a fork or something. I was looking at.
Templates. A post might have a file. It does not. Config. Post page. You got any files? No files here. Ah, come on. You got to have a file for me.
So I looked through for images, and they're doing images, but they're doing that static query one. They're not using Gatsby image or any dynamic images. But yeah, okay. So column looks like column has a file.
Yeah. So maybe we can look at. So maybe we can look at that. Let me just go back to here. Take a look at our Gatsby node, and that would be column. Ah, but it's not pulling in stuff from column. Ah, probably because it's coming from somewhere else. So maybe if I look for column here. Column data. Okay, that's looking better. Blog title. Column. Okay, we need to look at the column component. Ink column. Yeah. No. Dangerously set inner HTML content. But there's no image. Let me just look for image real quick. This looks like some GraphQL. Ah, sorry, my screen turned off for a sec. It does that, but I can see on the other one. Did I see correctly something about an image?
Yeah, I think you did. It looks like it's up there on line 64.
Yeah.
So they have blocks, and then there's this image they're pulling out from the front matter,
So
right?
maybe we can do something like this, but in the node config.
Yeah, or maybe just having those queries run. Like in this case, I don't think this is a static query. I think it's another one. Let's take a look at where it is. Like, can we scroll up a little bit?
Sure.
Yeah, page query. So that would be for the page, right? So the page would load all of the content that it needs. So we could go into like the homepage, for example, and try to pull the carousel images in the homepage page query, and then try to pass those down through props.
Right. So we'll do a query here.
That's just the TypeScript definition. So the page query should be below. I'm not sure if there is one here. I know that we've been using them in some of the GraphQL stuff. So if you wanted to look at like the shipment page, maybe something like that.
Sure. Sorry, just gonna see if I can fix my monitor blacking out every now and then. B Prevails asked, does Forestry actually use GraphQL? I don't know. Not at all.
I think it shouldn't matter though, because with GraphQL, you can, in that gatsby-node.js, you should be able to set it up to pull content into Gatsby's GraphQL from other sources. And so it might be, I'm sure there would be a plugin or something out there. We might need to do some more config, but I don't think that other things need to use GraphQL for Gatsby to use them and then expose all of that through its GraphQL setup.
Good point. Sorry, I just need to fiddle around with cables. Come on, please. Okay, cool. Right. So you're thinking we might need to do let's see how
why don't
GraphQL
we,
is.
like search for page query or something like that, right? I definitely remember writing queries like that for Contentful to get this stuff to load.
Oh yeah, here we go. It's doing, so we're doing a homepage query here in the.
Oh, that's interesting. So someone refactored that out to there and then just passing it in. So that's kind of what we're talking about, right? To get the carousel images or something. Yeah.
And in fact, that's where I put that in. These two.
Oh, that makes so much sense. Now, I'm not sure I love that those are moved out to Gatsby node if they make sense, if they're tied to that homepage itself, right? It would make more sense to kind of keep those queries together. So maybe something to look at in the future of like where, we're keeping these queries. But for now, let's just try to get it working. So if that's already in there, but image is coming back as text.
Right.
So why is that?
Could we hop onto the GraphQL console and fiddle around with it?
Yeah, we should be able to. And what I'm seeing here is that we're loading stuff from a file, from home.md, right? So it might very well be that the markdown file that Forestry generates only has the path to the image as text because it's markdown, right? We might then need to like use some of that to then go get the image itself.
There it is.
Yeah. And now we did upload these. Wait, we're doing this for the carousel, right?
No, we're doing this. This is for the how we help blocks.
Okay. So this is what Forestry is generating right here because we uploaded it to like Forestry Online, right? So they have the actual image and then they're generating this markdown with that path to the uploaded image. So we need to take that path and turn it into like an actual file pointer in Gatsby or something like that.
Right. So I would love to, if I may, propose that could it be that there's any more to this query that we're not seeing? Like maybe there's some extra piece of data that we can query from it, like get an image data? Or do you think because it's a file, like this is all we can get?
I wish it would let us do a shortcut where we could say something like, I want the image this is pointing to or something. Can we go back? Yeah. You had that query open on one of your tabs. Yeah. So image, child image sharp, and then some things there. I kind of want to look at our own GraphQL Explorer and compare the image, what's available through that's coming out of Markdown right?
Fun.
Versus like some of these other images that are already set up to work with Gatsby image.
So what you're saying is let's try this, like just grab this and try it out. Yeah?
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool. I can do that. Can I run that? Yes, I
Nice.
can. And in fact, there's our image as we requested.
Right. I'm just kind of like, so we have all the contentful stuff, which gets exposed through here, which really clutters it up. Is there anything coming in from Forestry besides what we explicitly defined on the left-hand side?
How could
Trying to see
I?
like if we could explore it or something, you know, or like all image, like can we go all image sharp and see if it's getting included in there? Probably
Is there a way?
nodes. Yeah, probably nodes over there. Um, and then Gatsby
Gatsby?
image data. Yep.
Could we get
Like
like a?
just, yeah, file name or something.
Yeah. I don't see that. I'll try it out just in case.
Okay.
See what we get. Yes, we do get some names. If we go to fallback SRC set.
Mm-hmm.
So we would want, for example, if we know some of these names, which I do, is Fort Pickett. It doesn't show up.
Yeah. So it looks like it's pulling in that stuff from Contentful, right? Or maybe from static images, but not from Forestry. So that's what we're running into here, is that we are manually, basically Forestry is exporting to Markdown, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Gatsby is, we're writing queries for Gatsby to go grab that content from Markdown and expose it through the Gatsby GraphQL. But that's kind of happening in this page query, right? I wonder if that should be happening, like when is that page query function in Gatsby node being run? Because with Contentful, we kind of loaded all of the Contentful data up into Gatsby, and then we could pull that whenever we needed. Here, if we're running specific queries for specific pages, that might be more efficient on build time or something like that. But then does that make it more complicated rather than just saying like, give me all of the content in all of these folders broken down by, you know, the file name or something, right?
Yeah, the other thing that concerns me is that we're kind of losing that pairing of the images to the blocks. Does that make sense?
What do you mean by that?
The way we have it set up, let me just bring up the original query, right?
Mm-hmm.
We know, oh, whoops. We know which image corresponds to which block.
Yeah.
So if we're doing a separate query for the image data, we kind of lose that link, don't we?
Yeah, that's true. And you can do things like build in plugins and stuff which kind of abstracts that, right? So we could load like the, you know, the markdown from Forestry, and then there's a processing step in Gatsby where we could go through that and say, okay, give me the image, you know, path there, the path string, right? And let me go actually load the image and just kind of plug that in for you. So I think that there are ways of doing this.
And Beeper asked, does Gatsby know that the images are also in the uploads folder, I wonder? And that's probably something we can configure as well.
Yeah, like just take all the images from the uploads folder and expose them to Gatsby. But then you're right. Like, how do we know that this image goes to, you know, this particular piece of content, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I wonder, maybe there's a way in JavaScript to load this. No, not in, like in the template file to load it. No, that would kind of defeat the purpose of what we're doing. Sorry, I was thinking like if this isn't working, what if instead, where did I do that? Here, right? we somehow turn this path into image data.
Yeah, like at that stage, like take the path. And so I think that's good, but I would probably just suggest going the plugin approach and doing that in Gatsby Node or something for, all of that content.
Yep, makes sense.
Yeah, but I feel like there should be something out there. I feel like it's a matter of like finding. Like this is not a problem that we're the first people in the world to try to solve, right?
Of
I'm sure
course.
people have used Forestry and Gatsby before together. And I feel like we know enough now that we know where the actual problem is, right?
The image Forestry CMS. Well, I still maintain hope. Image lazy loading in Gatsby. I can use.
Yeah, and that's from 2021. That's relatively recently.
That's one way to do it. Lazy loading dynamic images, transformer sharp. Post.frontmatter.image. And that's still image data. Yeah, child image sharp. Could we?
So this looks like, yeah, that's our page query right now. And they're using markdown remark, right? So HTML, front matter, title, image. We might just want to try putting child image sharp in there. Maybe by only having image, it defaults to the URL. But
Yeah.
this is one of those plugins, right? Something like that.
Do we have that plugin?
I think so. Let's go take a look. I know we definitely have something sharp. There's like Gatsby sharp or something. So let's just search for sharp.
There it is.
Gatsby plugin sharp. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. We'll still need to restart Gatsby. Develop process needs to be restarted because to apply the changes to Gatsby. Gosh, if this works, I'll have learned loads today.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like with Gatsby, it's a little bit sometimes too much magic under the hood for me, and that's where I find myself having to like go down a rabbit hole and spend an hour figuring out how images work.
Yeah.
But with these plugins and stuff, they're very powerful, and so if you can tap into them in the right way, once you figure out the invocation or whatever, then it just kind of works.
But it looks like we've got an error, I'm afraid.
Okay. Did we, yeah.
Field image must not have a selection since string has no subfield. So it's saying definitely this is a string. Not possible. So okay. Is there a way in GraphQL that we can turn a string into an image? That's what you were saying before.
Yeah, because we're using the child markdown remark, which looks like what they were using as well, right? Where on that on what we just Googled, where's that data coming from? Because here we're actually loading the markdown, right? So they're getting post template data.
And it's a string.
Yeah.
Huh.
Wait, what's it say about, just scroll up just a little bit.
Sorry, I should really read.
You can now query the image by accessing the Gatsby image data resolver. Okay, but how do we get to that point? Gatsby creates a file node for the image at build time when it sources data.
Yeah. Front matter. Gatsby. Because this is markdown remark. This is an image. vPrevail says in the GraphQL console, there's an all image sharp option as well. So like all image. Oh, if I spelled this correctly, all image. Oh, in the Explorer. Gotcha. All image sharp. Right. Oh, hold on. This is GraphQL, so we could, in theory, link those, right?
Yeah.
So let's see, Gatsby image data. I'm just going to delete this for a sec. So uploads. Let's look for Fort. I can't remember if it's with a dash. Sorry, I'm all over the place. Uploads. Where's uploads? Content? Where's the uploads folder? It is a dash. Okay, so we've got those files here coming in. Thank you, V Prevails. Which is good. So we can access that data. The question is, how can we link that to our blocks? Oh, look at that. It even shows up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 1 second. I was reading. Okay. So we have the images coming from all image sharp, right?
Yeah.
And then we're like, which one do we use? This is where I feel like that plugin or something, right? Of grabbing the images, grabbing the content, and then linking them together would be quite helpful. Especially since things like IDs, like if we're working with the image and then like the post, you know, like we can't match up IDs or something.
Check it out, Taylor. I think we have the wrong plugin.
Okay. Which one?
This is called Gatsby Transformer Sharp.
Okay.
But the one we were looking at was something else, I think. Gatsby Plugin Sharp.
We also have Gatsby Transformer Sharp on 31. So I'm not quite sure what the difference between plugin and transformer is. I'm sure it's meaningful in Gatsby land.
Do we use it? Gatsby config. Gatsby config. We do use it. Yeah, okay. Now we've got our markdown with an image. Gatsby creates a file node for the image at build time when it sources data. But it didn't for us.
Yeah.
Markdown remark. HTML. Front matter. Front matter. Oh yeah, front matter. Hold on. This is child markdown remark. The other one was markdown remark. I'm going to try it. I'm sure there's a reason for it, but I never hurts to be sure. And if not, maybe there is a GraphQL way of linking the all image sharp option with each image.
Mm.
No, that didn't work. Cannot query field markdown remark on type file. Right. Query post markdown remark. What is this? And this ID is for the post, I guess. Whew.
Okay, here. I found this on Forestry, so some of this relative file system stuff might be interesting. I just sent you the link on the chat.
Got it. Oh, and it's officially from Forestry.
Yep. So towards the bottom there, this is kind of just like why Gatsby, you know, things like that. So that bit at the bottom, like I'd probably start at the last title and just read down real quick.
Forestry doesn't like relative image URLs. Gatsby prefers them, like you correctly said. Depending on how you're querying images from your Gatsby site, you may have issues with Forestry. If you don't want to do any transformations to your images, Gatsby will want you to use the file path of your image instead of a URL. It's typically accomplished by inserting a relative path to the image in markdown files.
Which sounds like what we're doing, right? We have a path in the Markdown files.
Which got made automatically when we uploaded them.
Yep. Yep.
Unfortunately, keeping track of your relative position in the file system and inserting an accurate relative path is tricky for any CMS, and Forestry won't do it. Additionally, Gatsby interprets absolute paths relative to the system root and not the project root. So a solution based on absolute path will not work for across different environments. Here's some options for getting around this. Store and reference image from the static directory. This will not allow you to transport images via GraphQL queries.
So a lot of their starter projects, we see like an image in static, and then they do a query for it, and like are able to, just plug in the like that in the source and stuff.
So we want to use maybe one of these, huh?
Yeah, maybe Gatsby remark relative images. I'm not sure what the difference there is.
I see. Let's see if we have one of these installed.
Mm-hmm.
Package JSON. Transformer remark. Transformer sharp. I don't see anything about relative images. What was the other one called? Normalized paths. I didn't see that either.
Yeah.
So I say let's give the first one a try.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should try this one and then maybe start to wind it down. I feel
sounds
like we
good.
learned a lot today, and we really know where the problem is, right? There's an issue between Forestry and Gatsby. The data's there, but it's in different places. And one of the best ways to problem solve is just give your brain some space and time to chew on it in the background.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And this is progress.
Yeah, 100%. I know usually it seems glamorous when Ramon and I are just, plowing through a bunch of code, but we also get stuck from time to time.
Totally. B Prevails correctly says this is not an easy one. But, it's not easy, but it's also, it's horribly fascinating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I made a website with a static site generator called Eleventy a few weeks back. And it was doing a bunch of this stuff out of the box for me because it wasn't using GraphQL, right? But it was doing some fancy image transformation. And I must say, magic is a tricky one. This is something that I struggled with a lot coming from Ruby on Rails, because Ruby on Rails, I don't want to say prides itself, but one of the unique selling points of Rails is its magic.
Mm-hmm.
Everything just works out of the box.
Yeah.
And they opt for something called convention over configuration.
Mm-hmm.
So this notion of saying like, listen, if you don't mess with stuff, it'll be fine. Like you can build your software, just don't mess around with the config.
Yeah.
Cool. So I have now installed that. Now to use it, this is where we could bring in static assets before markdown files. Okay. So I guess we could copy something like one of these.
So in our Gatsby config, we probably already have the static bit and the file system bit. And then there's the transformer remark. We've seen that, right?
Yeah.
And then it looks like we need to put the resolver in a plugin in the transformer. If that
gotcha.
Makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense. Let's do just that. So here in Gatsby config, just bring this down a little bit. Markdown pages, Gatsby source file system. It was for the markdown run, right? No, Gatsby transformer remark. Gatsby transformer remark.
Yeah.
So what if I just copy paste this whole block?
Yeah.
And give that a try.
That looks good. And then they said something about having the images included before markdown. Like it needs to have the image paths in there, so when it's processing the markdown, then it can convert them. That might also be an issue, right? So why don't we look at like our pages or other markdown content?
Yeah.
No, if we just scroll up right here, it's the same config file, right? So we see like right at the top, there's contentful, which is fine, but then there's the markdown pages, then there's something else, and then there's the images. So if you scroll down to like line 50 or something like that,
right.
Let's move like line 49 through 59 or something like that. Because there's also the static uploads right there.
Yeah.
Let's just move those probably to right under contentful before the markdown bit.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that would help. Maybe it was loading the markdown and then not going back through it after it loaded the images. And so it said, hey, I don't know where this image is, so we're just going to put the string there. It might expose more data if it has the image data ahead of time.
Cool.
No.
Let's do a yarn dev. Thank you. That makes sense. Hopefully, unfortunately, Gatsby does not agree. Perhaps you need to install. Oh, right. We declared here using Gatsby remark images, but we're not using that. We don't have that installed.
What are we using?
Gatsby remark. Where's package JSON? I don't know.
Relative images.
That's the one we just installed.
Right. But it also has that in there. I think we should install Gatsby remark images, because remark is this markdown like plugin ecosystem, right?
Right.
And so I feel like that also might be the issue, is remark just doesn't know to process the images in the image data.
Gotcha.
And it might do it automatically for us.
Which would be awesome.
Yeah, we might not even need that relative images thing. It's just what people are popping up with. So this might be like throw 4 solutions at the problem, and then if it works, we got to figure out which one actually works.
Yeah. So it didn't crash on.
You jinxed it. Come on, man.
My bad. Through an error while running another, the path argument must be of type string, receive undefined.
Uh-oh.
Yeesh.
For what? Where though?
Node error. On create lifecycle. Path argument must be of type string, received undefined. Can I try something, Taylor?
Yep.
Since we reordered how we do this, do you want to just try and remove our use of that last plugin just to see if that fixes it?
Yeah, sure.
Just. Oh, hold on. Yeah, Gatsby transformer remark all the way down to here. Just out of curiosity. Yeah, undo a couple times. Gatsby transformer remark. Was it always there? No, it wasn't. Oh, yeah, it was. Sorry.
No.
Put it back. I just want to see what happens. Could be totally wrong.
Looks like it built. Nope. I jinxed it that time.
Cannot read property component path resolve. Homepage data file. Could that be? Cannot. Oh, markdown require. Right. You know what? I messed up the. Remember, I messed up the. This one. This should be child. Markdown remark. This is what scares me sometimes about Gatsby, is that I feel like I'm balancing a lot of very, very important moving parts.
Yeah.
So hopefully, no. Field image must have a selection since type string has no subfield. So we're back to that issue with
Gotcha. So I wonder if that last plugin we saw though, remark image or something like that,
This one
right? Like
here.
just Gatsby remark images without the whole, it's saying resolve Gatsby transformer remark options plugins, and then we do the relative images. I think if we copy this, but we skip the relative images bit, could we just try, the Gatsby transformer remark as that markdown to GraphQL transformer with this added image support, right? I think that's
Like
what's going
this.
on here. Yeah. Yeah.
That sounds compelling.
Right. Because I feel like that's what we were talking about. There should be a way to take that string in Markdown, which is clearly for a file, it's a path string, right? Detect that, and then just go load that image and plug that data in there.
Doesn't look like it. Unless I did save, yeah.
Yeah.
This is hard.
Yeah. I think we're onto something here, right? We kind
Yeah.
of have a couple of approaches. We could try to load all the images and then match them up with the markdown. We might be able to try to like have a plugin go replace images in markdown when it discovers a path string. We know it's definitely an issue between Forestry and Gatsby, right?
Yeah.
And things like currently work. We haven't broken production. This isn't like holding that up. So let's maybe message Maxime, kind of share
Yeah.
what we learned on this stream
For
with
sure.
him and with Rebea, and just to keep them in the loop. They might have some ideas and take some time to think about it, and then keep plugging away next week.
Sounds good. All
Cool.
right. Hey, thanks a lot, Taylor. This was like I never feel frustrated with this sort of thing because it's like I understand Gatsby a heck of a lot better than I did before.
Well, exactly. Yeah, I think that, and what I like about this is we're all contributing our different experiences. Like it's kind of greater than the sum of its parts, and we all get to learn together for sure.
Exactly. All right. Well, then let's wind it down, call it a day. Just get that link up again. If you're watching and you want to contribute to what we're doing, there's an open collective there for financial donations. You'll also find the GitHub there if you want to contribute to the code, mess around with Gatsby image. Yeah. Thank you all so much for watching. Taylor, thank you for being on with me. And yeah, wish everybody a wonderful rest of your week.
Absolutely. Have a great Thursday, y'all.
Take care, everybody.